Alright, by popular demand, we are going over problem 31. So if you haven't already, take a moment and read it. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and get started on this. I'm going to move the book. I trust that you have the information written down that you need. In this problem, we are trying to do a conversion that will take us from 31 billion tons of CO2 to grams first, and then from grams we're going to make one more conversion and we'll solve for the answer that does not have or require an exponential notation. So I'm going to go ahead and write down our information. I'd prefer that you show your work all the time, as we especially in the initial stages of doing these problems. So here's problem 31, and we have 31 billion tons of CO2. That's our given. In the first part of the problem, we are wanting to solve for the number of grams. In the second part of the problem, we will need to solve for some other unit that also involves grams. So there's our starting point. My next part of the strategy in solving a problem after we read it, get our general information, this is a conversion problem. Tons and grams are both mass measurements. So we need to find other mass measurements that can relate these two to each other. If we have a direct conversion from grams to tons, we use it, but otherwise we go about it in a different way. What we're going to do here is develop a plan that we know we have conversion factors for. So let's start out with those conversion factors. This first one I didn't find in the book, though I hope that you're familiar with it, and that's what tons is and how it relates to pounds. It's all in the English system. 1 ton is the same as 2,000 pounds. We would call this an equivalent statement, and it'll be a part of our conversion factors. It'll be a part of our fence post. If you go to the very back of your book, you find a conversion factor that states 1 pound is equal to 453, and I believe it's 59 grams. So based on this set of conversion factors, and where one unit is related to another unit, we can make a conversion of tons into pounds, and then we can take pounds and convert it to grams. So let's go ahead and write out a plan. The plan always starts with the given, and we use arrows to represent the changes that will occur, the conversions. We can convert tons to pounds, and then pounds to grams. Pay attention to the number of arrows. This is always important in determining how to set up the problem. Now we're going to make what we would call a fence post. A fence post is going to be set up as a multiplication division problem. The difference is we don't write parentheses, we use just vertical and horizontal lines. Step 1 is to draw a horizontal line across your paper. You always do that step. Step 2 is to consider the number of arrows that you had in your plan and draw vertical arrows representing each one of those arrows. Vertical lines representing those arrows. So here's the first one, and here's the second one. The next part of the process, I'm going to copy in the given, and the given's going to go into the top unless it's some sort of special fraction styled unit. Notice I am writing the units. I'm going to also copy in the pounds. The pounds will also go into the top of the fence post, and I copy in grams. From there, I want to set this up so that every unit cancels out except for grams. So tons needs to be canceled out. It's going to be related to pounds, and so we're going to copy this unit diagonally down and left. We're going to do the same thing for pounds, because pounds can be related directly to grams. At this point, we're going to go back up to our conversion factors, and for every fact we've established, for instance 1 ton equals 2,000 pounds, that fact now goes into a fraction. So 2,000 pounds is the same as 1 ton. The other conversion, 1 pound is the same as 453.59 grams. The way that we check our work is to make sure all the units cancel out. These are fractions, so tons over tons is 1, it cancels out. Pounds over pounds cancels out. We're left with grams, which is the goal in part A. 2,000 pounds is 1 ton, that's true. 453.59 grams is 1 pound, that's true. This is set up well. We're going to punch in and solve. When you get that answer in your calculator, it should come up to 2.8 times 10 to the 16th grams. So that is the answer for the first part of the problem. If you read carefully, though, they wanted you to go further with it. They wanted you to make a conversion to some other unit than grams, some other prefix with grams that doesn't have exponents. To that, I'd refer you to page 16. Here comes 16. Our answer was in 10 to the 16th exponent quantity size, and looking at this, it appears that the closest one to 10 to the 16th that's just a little bit smaller is peta, P-E-T-A. So a peta means 10 to the 15th. So 1 petagram will equal 10 to the 15th grams. So we're going to make that into its own conversion factor now. So again, our conversion factor is that 1 petagram equals 10 to the 15th grams. That's a fact. That'll get us from one to the other, and we should get a pretty number that's nice and close to 1. So we copy petagram into the top. We want to cancel out grams, so it goes into the bottom. And now I'm going to go ahead and kind of wave this out of our way. 10 to the 15th petagram, or sorry, 10 to the 15th grams is 1 petagram. When you put this into your calculator, multiply all the numbers at the top, divide all the numbers at the bottom. Whenever you're dividing, especially with exponents or a group of things, you should use parentheses. So this will be typed in as 2.8 times 10 to the 16th divided by, and then quantity using parentheses, 10 to the 15th, and then hit enter. Your answer comes up as 28 petagrams, and that is the final answer for the entire problem. Just to go back and review one more part of this problem, the significant figures. We ended up with 2 significant figures, and the place that that comes from is the given. The given is the only considered measurement in this whole thing, 31 billion tons, and since there's no decimal point anywhere in this number, only the 3 and the 1 digits count for significant figures. So the conversion factors are all facts, they're not considered measurements, and we don't consider them for significant figures. So that's why 31 billion tons just became 28 PG at the end. Hope that was helpful. If you have any questions, please come and see me.